What up, Shinigami Kai? Shinigami here. This week I'm going to be doing something a little different. Usually I don't try to hop on bandwagons of stuff too much, but I just had to get on this Detroit urban survival training, trend, I guess. So today I'm going to be reacting to 13 of his videos. They're all pretty short. Some of them I've seen from watching some other clips of his stuff that people are sharing around. But I thought I'd address this because this is one of those guys that's out here, supposedly teaching effective self-defense. And as someone whose base art is primarily focused on, real-world street combat self-defense and, evolving with the times, I feel like I should address this stuff, especially a lot of the weapon disarming, because, any martial art with assault will teach you some weapon disarming, and will also be realistic about it if they're actually teaching you properly. This guy seems to have, and I'll comment on this as I get to some of the videos, especially the ones I've seen that I feel like I need to comment on specifically. He seems to have some level of legitimate training, but not much. It looks like he maybe took a couple of, like a month of American Kempo or some kind of Kempo or something soft style, and then had a falling out with his instructor and decided to open his own school and do whatever. I highly doubt he's ever really been in a situation where he's had to deal with live fire. I may be wrong, but from what I can tell, he is not. So, do with that what you will. But yeah, so let's just get into it. Okay, so here we have one of the first videos I got here. Pistol disarms. Let's get into it. See, the guy waited until after he was way out of the way to pull the trigger on that. Okay, now see, this right here is absolutely ridiculous. Why would you take the gun from the guy and look another direction while he's still relatively unharmed? I mean, you haven't done anything to injure him or disable him. This is absolute nonsense. Then he's going to have to, and this is one of the clips I've seen right here, is this specific one. I didn't realize this was a compilation of disarms, that it was pistol disarm when I downloaded it. Misread the title, that's on me. It's pretty late. I decided to do this pretty last minute. But yeah. He's going to have to aim back at his attacker, which there's no reason for him to have taken the gun off of him to check his surroundings at all. Matter of fact, the guy grabs the gun again, which is ridiculous. Yeah, so that's a lot of malarkey right there. Some of those are okay. Like, if we go back to this very first one here, as he's doing it full speed, yeah, and a lot of people are giving him flack for even doing gun disarms. Listen, gun disarms are realistic enough if taught properly. That first one is probably the only realistic one I've ever seen him do, maybe the second one. The thing of it is what you have to realize is statistically, anyone who's going to shoot you is going to shoot you within the first, 3 seconds or something like that. If they're that close to you with a gun trying to intimidate you, they don't shoot you in 3 seconds, they're never going to shoot you in the first place. They don't want to shoot you. You have a slim chance. Now, the slim chance is going to come from repetitive training and building up to this kind of stuff. And that's one thing that a lot of the uninitiated, who are probably the bulk of his viewership, don't understand about anything martial arts related. Everything that you see that works didn't come from somebody watching a video like this or watching an instructor one time. Martial arts doesn't work that way. It's all about muscle memory. So you have to build your muscle memory by practicing constantly for years. You have to do this stuff repeatedly. I mean, I started learning weapon disarms at like yellow belt because I'm an adult and my Shion felt like it was something that was important for an adult to learn. But even then, we started with really basic things and focused on details. And, after a few times, we'd start dealing with resistance. We had a gun that clicked like this guy has here, but it was more of it was like an airsoft type of gun, but it looked very real. It was actually made of metal. It was realistic weight and everything. Really expensive training gun. And, you get to the point where you knew you were okay when you were out of the way and had control of the weapon before it went click. And again, that was not a quick process to get through. It took a while, and then you have to keep practicing it and keep practicing it. And again, idealistically, you should avoid any kind of location that's going to even get you in these situations, right? That's another thing people don't talk about is the avoidance factor. So we got to avoid these things, right? So let's go to the next video. We'll get into stuff later. Meanwhile, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe if you haven't yet. And I still need help with my GoFundMe, which is also in the link. A link is also in the description below. Anyway, let's keep going. So here we have some kind of push defense. Let's see what this is. One of the ones I haven't seen. So let's see what we've got going here. It looks like a push to the center of the chest, which is usually unrealistic. Someone's going to push you. They're probably going to push your shoulder to off-balance you. Even untrained idiots do that. It's very rare to get pushed in the center of the chest like this. But let's see what he does.
Detroit Urban Final Training. Right now, we're going to demonstrate for you how to lock someone's wrist and arm if they're pressing you, pushing you back. In this case, as soon as he hits, pushing forward, pressing me, I'm going to take my hands here. One, that's here, into the base of the hand. Two, right here, pressing on this, reinforcing it. And what we're going to do is lean forward. And there's your lock. And all this is, sir, can you stand up? No. All right, can you explain what you felt?
Physical containment and nerve. I just wanted to comply.
Yep. And what we have is a Z lock. So that lock is here. You can use your hands or you can use your body. And this intelligent option increases your survivability.
As someone who does American Kempo and Jiu-Jitsu, both of which have a lot of joint, especially Jiu-Jitsu, have a lot of joint locks. That's not a proper Z or gooseneck lock. I might have to try to test this out the way he's doing it just to make sure. But I can tell you from my experience alone that this is likely not going to work. There's not enough pressure on the wrist. You're not really bending it back. It's kind of just held in place. You might be able to put some pressure on the elbow here, but I don't see this working against a resisting opponent. You're going to have to be really quick, and it's easier to deal with something like this if you pin with one hand and use the other to attack the elbow or the face. This right here is one of those things that I'm just kind of like 99% sure he's capping on, because that just doesn't really mesh with principle or accurate proper technique or body mechanics. I mean, if the guy drops to his knees like that, which ain't going to happen until you put pressure on the elbow, you might be able to put pressure on the elbow, but there's not going to be wrist pressure. You're not going to lock his wrist that way. It's just not bent enough. It's not happening. On top of that, bending someone's hand, backwards like this is really hard to get anything. You got to bend this way, and kind of rotate a little bit. This is nonsense. Next, Okay, so here we have a street demo hostage disarm for a knife attack. Like someone's holding you hostage with a knife. I believe I've seen this one. If I recall correctly, it does follow some proper principles. It also doesn't, and I'll tell you why in a second, but let's watch this.
If I move, cut. Work. All right. Detroit Urban Survival Training. I'm going to share with you right now what you can do if someone puts a knife to your throat from the rear. You have not seen that before. You've not seen that technique before, right? All right, Detroit Street Demo. So that's a knife disarm. Hostage position. He's got me from the rear. First I do, trap it. So even though he's strong, he pulls it in, it's not gonna move. I turn in. The weapon is trapped here inside my hand, and I have the weapon. And from here, you decide what you want to do next. Detroit Urban Survival Training teaches you tactics that will increase your...
Now, the first time he does this, the guy's already got the knife to his throat. We go back to the beginning here. He doesn't have any control of the weapon. This is off the bat. This is not good. Never ever let anybody get here. As soon as you feel someone reach around, the first thing you should do is always grab that hand. Now, the fact that there's a weapon in the attacker's hand here is a little bit of a game changer, and you might get cut grabbing it, not being necessarily aware that the knife is there at first. But the fact is that you can't let somebody get this far. If they're this far and your hands are down and you have no control of that hand or anything, you're toast. The rest of the technique is pretty sound. Again, you have to train this stuff. You have to do everything right. And in fact, if you notice, let's go back to this part here where he actually does it and explains it, right?
You've not seen that before. You've not seen that technique before, right? All right.
So watch now when he does it. The guy goes to come.
From the rear. First I do, trap it. So even though he's strong, he pulls it in.
That trap should happen when the knife's coming around. Once you have control of the knife, this will work. But you have to.
Inside my hand, and I have the weapon.
You have to be quick. You have to be committed, and you have to be prepared to take the weapon and use it on them or stab them with it while it's still in their hand. You can't do this kind of stuff slow. I understand too, and this is why American Kempo gets misjudged a lot. A lot of people see these demonstrations and it's the idea phase, right? This is the slow version of the breakdown. And it actually really blows my mind that jiu-jitsu guys don't understand this. But I think the reason is they go from the idea phase to the what if phase to the resistance phase, usually all in one day, instead of taking years of practicing and building up on a single thing. Because in jiu-jitsu, there's really only a handful of techniques, right? What you start learning and getting more advanced in is different pathways to get to those, basic techniques. Ankle locks, knee bars, heel hooks, arm bars, wrist locks, shoulder locks, chokes, with and without the gi, neck cranks, and spine cranks. That's really about it, right? Those are what you can sum up jiu-jitsu submissions as, right? And some takedowns, right? Off balancing, things like that. So you learn these principles and you learn your basics, and then you learn more advanced ways to get to them and how to chain things together. So I think that there's something a little lost in translation between things like Kempo and these jiu-jitsu guys who that's their base art and they've never seen an actual Kempo class or watched it, the more advanced version of the techniques and just see demos and judge things. Again, sound principle, he's got the right idea. His execution is absolutely piss poor, and his initial start is going to get you killed. Now, I know my guy, Icy Mike, one of my sort of Street Beast colleagues, who fought in the OG Yard. He's still active in the Street Beast Facebook group. I've talked to him on Instagram and Facebook a few times. And even had some back and forth in the comment section on his YouTube videos a little bit, just a little discourse. Like he says, it's the factors of someone getting themselves killed by trying something like this after only watching this video is the odds are astronomical because it just has to be, perfect storm. If you watch his video on this guy, he covers that because he's covered it before. How it's the biggest myth that these Bullshido guys are going to get someone killed. Now, they might get some of their students that actively train with them in class all the time and are shelling out good money who have a false sense of confidence because they see him do it and they practice it until they do it exactly how he does it. But again, this guy's execution is absolutely horrible. Most people who see this probably are not going to get themselves killed trying this stuff because they'll probably never try this stuff. You have to be another level of stupid to try something like this after only seeing it once, never practicing it, never doing it with a resisting opponent, never learning the variables. Yeah, it's next. Okay, now this is something right here. In fact, there was another one with this. I think I'll put that in my part 2 video because this is part 1 of 2. This is something I haven't seen. It's one of the ones I haven't seen yet. Grip side shouldered shotgun disarm. Now, anyone who knows anything about guns kind of knows that a shotgun is a really close range weapon. And even if you factor for the fact that there are several things involved with dealing with a gun disarm, one being that if someone's going to shoot you, they're going to shoot you, and there's going to be a damn thing you're going to do about it. If they're trying to intimidate you and they don't shoot you in that first 3 seconds, you have to be fast, you have to be committed, and you have to, you have to act. You don't react, you act. Action is 2 to 3 times faster than reaction, which is what gives you a slim advantage in survivability in the gun situation, to use his favorite word here, survivability. It takes a second and a half for the brain to register that, something's happening, and it takes another second and a half to send that signal, if I remember correctly. It might just be a second and a half total, but either way, that's still more than enough time if you commit and get off the line of fire at the same time and get control of the weapon. This has to be all one go, one movement, which is why practicing is so important. But this is someone. If someone's holding a gun like this, they probably know what they're doing, and they're probably not going to let you grab the gun, right? That's another thing. you have to realize a lot of these people who are going to intimidate you to try to stick you up and don't want to shoot you and aren't going to shoot you probably aren't that well trained with the gun, especially if they're getting this close to you and sticking in your face. Stupid. Anyway, let's see what this is.
Detroit Urban Survival Training. I'm going to share with you right now what you can do to increase your survivability.
What?
If you are in front of a gunman and you believe they're going to shoot you. But do not resist if you believe all they're going to do is rob you. Do not die or even resist anyone who has intention to just simply take something you can replace. So if the weapon is shouldered, first thing you do is move what's in front of the gun. So in this case, I'm in front of the weapon. I'm going to move what's in front of the weapon, and I'm going to take my hand and go here and strike it up into the face.
Once again, we have the
and therefore you
UK not pulling the trigger until way after he's already moved the gun. Unrealistic reaction. Timing, anyway. Now, sorry, I'm at this little dry. I was trying to see if I had any kind of anything to wet the whistle there other than water. First of all, no. Never assume they're just trying to mug you and take something that you can replace. First things first, any street survival, self-defense situation in the street is you got to treat it like a life or death situation until it presents itself as, you learn through training, through years of training, how to assess what the threat level of an attacker is. But anytime there's a weapon involved, that is automatically a life or death situation at all times. Even if they only seem intent on robbing you, you don't know if they're going to slip up or what their intention is. If you're going to try to survive, you're going to have to do it, and you're going to have to do it within that, With a gun, I'd count to 3. Because, like I said, statistically, they're going to shoot you in that first 3 seconds, and there's nothing you're going to do about it if that's what they're going to do. Count to 3 in your head. If you're close enough within arm's reach where you can do something, and you have trained a proper disarm that's not going to get you killed, do it. Because, things get a little more murky the longer these situations take, right? They're going to be over fast one way or another, or the guy's going to get more nervous and then you don't know what he's going to do. He might do something he didn't intend to do, right? So you gotta deal with these situations as a life or death situation. And these are situations too where you might be able to get off in court if you have to kill the guy. Now, I definitely would not recommend as far away as the guy with the shotgun was, I would not recommend this. You're not really within arm's reach. You had to step pretty far. And the guy with the shotgun obviously knew what he was doing. You move, he's going to shoot you. Someone who holds a gun that way. So, not a good technique. Absolutely off principle. Next.
Detroit Urban Survival Training. I want to share with you what...
Now, this one I've seen. This one I really want to talk about because... I've done multiple attacker training at several schools. We used to do 3-on-1 sparring at one of the places I did MMA training at. We've done up to 10 people surrounding you in my Kempo class. And what this guy's about to do is not only a waste of energy, but just absolutely insane because he doesn't do anything to any of these attackers to damage them, to distract them through any kind of pain response. You're gonna waste your energy, and you're not gonna get out of here. First of all, the first objective when you're dealing with multiple opponents, especially if they're unarmed, is to injure one or two as quick as possible. Take out something vital, the transportation, break a knee, gouge an eye, do something that's going to cause enough pain to distract them long enough for you to run away and try to keep one or two people in line with everybody else between, have a barrier, right? What he's about to do right here is absolutely ridiculous.
What to do if you're surrounded by a group of men and they attack you. So if they come at you, what you don't want to do is try to stand in the middle like in a martial arts karate movie, moving in a circle, trying to block, trying to hit. That's not going to work. So if they try to grab and then try to attack you and you try to back up, this is what's going to happen. As you try to back up, you're going to get swarmed and you're still going to be dominated and you're going to lose. What you should do is this. And as you can see, when you move in a circle around the crowd, you're able to attack each attacker individually. Detroit Urban Survival Training.
Now, one, he didn't attack any of those guys, right? He was shoving them around like they were in a mosh pit from the outside. Absolutely ridiculous. The only thing he gets right here is the first guy that tries to attack him. He uses that guy as his way to make an opening and exit the center, which is absolutely what you want to do. Yeah, you don't want to stay in the center. Now, in training, you'll start staying in the center. At least that's how we did it. Just so you can learn to deal with you don't know where the attack's coming from first. Then you start building up into exiting the circle, which ultimately is the goal, right? Only thing he did right. But the problem is, even on his exit, all he did was kind of spin the guy into the circle. Didn't do anything to drop him, take out his transportation, make his homies worry about him. Nothing, right? I would have broke that guy's arm going out, on the way out. It was right there. The way he grabbed his arm, spun him in, snapped the elbow, take out the leg. Maybe kick him in the groin on the way out. And then, if you can clear while you're facing the crowd and get a few steps away, you only need three to four paces to get a head start and get out. That's your goal, is run away in one piece, right? You're not going to try to sit there and fight everybody. It's not a movie. This is real life. And you're also not just going to run around the outside of the circle trying to fight everybody either. That's insane. Don't stay in the circle and don't stay just to fight everybody. And don't stay outside the circle and try to fight everybody. You take out one or two guys, and that's probably all you need to do. Because, one, the others aren't going to want to mess with you after they see you take out the first couple of guys. If they're smart, which most people's survival instincts are going to kick in. Especially when they think they have the advantage of numbers versus someone with training that's high enough level to deal with those numbers. Maybe you take out a third guy, but by then you should have enough people on the floor between you and the other guys that they're going to have to try to get, they'd have to step on their own homeboys, and they're not going to do that. So you got to just, 2 or 3 dudes, get out, run home, call the cops, do whatever you got to do at that point. But get to safety. Don't try to fight everybody. This is dumb. Do not do this. Don't run around the outside. You'll waste all your energy anyway. You're never going to do enough vital damage to anybody this way. Just don't do it. Next. Okay, so just like the other one, this didn't download right, so I had to go to his YouTube channel instead of, using the rip. So, now, here we have, the hand is not meant to hold anything. He says this a few times, too. And, again, my esteemed colleague, Icy Mike, has pointed out that what he says about the hand not meant to hold anything very well is true in the sense that he means it's not meant to retain a grip on something being violently ripped out of it, especially objects, right? Now, obviously, jiu-jitsu, judo, you learn how to do grips. But, this is a wrist grab, and wrist grabs are the easiest thing to get out of. Doesn't matter, same side, cross, grip, like this. Let's see what he does here. This might be sound.
Detroit Urban Survival Training, I want to share with you right now why we say the hand is not meant to hold anything very well. This man is much stronger than me, much bigger than me. He's going to hold hard. He's holding hard. You're holding hard, right? Yeah. You're not going to let go. No. And it comes right out. He's holding hard. Hold 2 hands. So he's strong. This is a person that works in law enforcement. He's a very strong person, much stronger than me. He is not going to let go unless he has to, correct?
Correct.
Yep. We're going to come here, grab our fist, comes right out. The hand is not meant to hold things very well.
Okay, now, here he's right. And again, even Icy Mike agrees. Dude's smart. The hand is not going to retain this grip if you're not to get out of it, which is to always go against the thumb. The thumb is not very strong on its own, and in a normal grip, that's kind of what's really retaining the grip, right? You're not going to get out going against the fingers because there's 4 of those. They have a stronger grip. There's more muscles engaged there. The first thing, you just have to circle against the thumb. Not that hard. The second one, that's a little trickier. You can probably do that without grabbing your own hand. You never really want to occupy both of your hands that way in a self-defense situation. If you're doing it quick, it's fine. You have to do something afterwards, though. He's not doing anything afterwards. Breaking the grip is not enough because once someone grabs you like that and is demonstrating intent to harm you or control you, you have to do something to get away from them, right? You have to do something to subdue them or injure them enough that you can get away in one piece. Again, depending on their actual threat level. You can go gentle art, you can go crippling art, Kempo, something like that. But just doing this is not enough. You can't just break these grips. Next. Now, I think I've seen this one. I might be wrong because it doesn't look like this guy has a knife in his hand. The other one, I think the guy had a knife or a gun. Let's see where this goes.
Here. So the way that works, you're coming forward, you're under the line of sight. So he's here, you can also fake here, and you're thrusting through the knee. And it can be done with either leg. So you're coming here. The reason why it's not perceivable is because you're not coming here. If you're up here, doing things here, up here, it's easy to perceive. If it's here, it's not easy to perceive, and it goes right through the knee, to the ground. Preferably what you want to do is commit, so you're going through the knee. When you go through, it goes down to the ground, you're actually on the knee here, you drop in on the pelvis, smash the skull to the ground, 3 moves or less.
3 moves or less. Now, nonsense right there. That's not necessarily true. This is one of those techniques that works. But the way he's doing it kind of violates principle. His guard is down. He's dropping his guard. Yeah, if you kick someone's knee in from the front or from the inside out, you're probably going to tear everything in the knee. You drop all your weight on it. That should end it right there. You probably don't have to do too much else. They're not going to be able to walk on it at that point. But 3 moves or less, not necessarily. I would definitely start with something like an eye rake to get their attention away from the leg at the same time as I'm attacking the leg. I also wouldn't want to go inside like that to attack the groin the way he was that deep in there. Because even though the guy can't get up and fight you anymore, he's probably going to try to grab your leg. He can still kind of roll you over. Adrenaline's still going to kick in. He might be in a lot of pain, but he might still try to fight. Because now you're both in a fight or flight response. Again, the knee stomp will work, right? If you do it right, if your setup is good, you know, that's going to keep him from chasing you, and you don't want to stay in there. That's when you get out, right? Ideally, yes, the less moves possible, the better. But I don't know if 3 moves or less is always a ticket. Maybe that's because I'm a Kempoist and we do techniques that have 10, 12, 13 moves, but we execute those moves in less than a second and a half. And we never even do those techniques all the way through anyway, but we learn techniques and learn the hand speed, the circular movement, the science of body mechanics that allow that to happen, right? 3 moves or less is not necessarily a universal principle to rely on, because it's not always going to get the job done.
You stop the aggressor. You want the least amount of movements.
Yeah, let's see what this here is with the rest of this.
Slash, punch, knee, elbow. You want to bring this to closure. When you go through the knee, you can't walk. As you ride down to the concrete, your body weight goes through the knee. From here, you use the same leg, drop in, smash through the skull. And the reason why his hands can't protect is because when you drop your weight into the pelvis, using your knee, remember you've already landed on the shin, on the knee, driving it down to the concrete. That's already extremely painful. When you drop with your body weight in the shin and the pelvis, this person right here, they're trying to figure out how to get this person off their crotch. When you slam your skull, using your fingers go right to the skull, right to the eyes. Using your
No. This is what I mean. You do that and leave your leg there, they can grab you and roll you over. Now, if you know how to post and do jiu-jitsu, you're going to be fine here. You probably still shouldn't do this because you don't really want to get into that kind of engagement on concrete in the real world. If you can avoid ground fighting, especially if you're in a top position, why would you try to lose that? And the smash in the skull thing, you just went from reasonable force to deadly force potentially, because we're talking back of the head on the concrete, and even from that distance, you can cause severe damage to the back of the brainstem, and kill somebody at a point at which it was not necessary. This is not an armed attacker. This is someone you've already disabled. Just walk away. Next! Okay, let's see. Reverse grip, backhand. This is a knife disarm. Let's see where we go here.
hoping that I don't get stabbed, I'm going to come forward. Here. If you get cut in the hand, it's better than getting cut in the face or chest. You probably won't get cut in the hand. So it comes in. 1, 2.
Okay, here we have a somewhat, again, his principles are correct, but his execution is mostly dreadful. Let's go back here. Now, if we go step by step here, he does the right thing. He keeps his arteries in, right? But see, his first move here, the problem with this is he's blocking the arm, but he's not getting any kind of control of the weapon, and anyone who's actually trying to stab you is not going to swing once, get blocked, and stop. They're going to withdraw and change their target zone and just keep going. And whether they're coming with a knife in the standard, point forward from the thumb grip, or they're doing this underhand grip, they're probably going to sewing machine, which is stab slash, stab slash, stab slash. you got to get control of the weapon as you block. All right, so and I think even he realizes that, because if you notice when he does it again, he uses both hands. Here he has to make an adjustment to bring that other hand up, right? Now watch, the guy does it again, and he comes in with both hands, right? Boom, 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 boom. Slow-mo, slow-mo, slow-mo. Look. So he comes in with the other hand, right, and then brings the other hand up to take the knife away, right? And you're sitting here talking about, I hope I don't get cut. You're probably going to get cut. It's a freaking knife, all right? The goal here, though, is to keep the arteries away from the weapon, because if you get cut on the outer side of the arm where there's no arteries, no main arteries, something that's going to make you bleed out, and you've got more muscle tissue than the soft side of your arm, you're going to bleed, you're going to be hurt, but you're not going to die from it. You might need stitches, you're not going to bleed out. Okay, so he comes up with both hands, which should have been the first thing he did. Arteries in, proper good form there. Maybe should be a little more in, because with that space, the dude could technically still slash his arteries. And then look at how long it takes him to get control of the weapon, though. That should have been the first thing he did right off that block. Out of the hand to the face is good as a distraction while you grab the weapon. And then, this is a life or death situation. Screw this guy. He puts you in a situation where he's trying to kill you. You get the knife, slash him up, and get out. Call the cops, do what you got to do. This is a scenario where you have to realize that it's better to be judged by 12 than carried by 6. And damn the consequences, get home in one piece. All right? But, then if you notice, he grabs the blade and then, again, does it again and grabs the handle. You should be able to grab the handle and pry it out of their hand. And even if you don't, break the arm, then they're going to let go of that. They're not going to be able to hold on to that knife if you snap that elbow. It's just not going to happen. Take it by the handle, do what you got to do, get out. Again, this is the running theme here. It's like this guy got to, like, orange belt or purple belt in some kind of karate system or soft style self-defense system that focuses on a lot of soft zone strikes and leverage and stuff. And then that's it, right? Yeah, his techniques are very low level execution. His principles are there, but his execution is not. All right, number 10 here. Let's see the side headlock. It's a very common, very, very common technique to learn self-defense for. It's a very common thing that you come across with untrained fighters in the real world. They try to get you in this headlock like it's going to do something. And it can. They can choke you with it just out of sheer luck. They could crank your neck. They could hold you there and punch your face in. So let's see, because there's jiu-jitsu versions of this. Every martial art has some version of how to deal with this, right? Let's see what this guy does.
Side headlock, escape, pull down, get air. 2, reach in, grab the eye, peeling outward, striking the throat, or gripping the high or slamming them down. This will increase your survivability.
I don't know about grabbing the eye. We like to press under the nose here in Kempo or lift the chin up, do something that's going to off-balance them more. The eye is going to cause a knee-jerk reaction. They might let go. They might just move their head out of the way. And then you still have to deal with that arm lock. First thing is good. Pull the arm down so you can breathe. Turn your head in. Quite frankly, I think the more evolved version of Grip of Death, which is the Kempo technique for this, that we know is better. The Jiu-Jitsu version I've been shown is better. This starts out good and then goes south pretty quick. The way he takes him down, he really doesn't have anything behind his legs. The guy just kind of falls. There's nothing to really leverage that takedown. I think this is one of those things I'll address in a future video and show the proper way to get out of this. But this ain't it, fam. This is not it. Next.
Detroit Urban Survival Training.
Ground attacks. Ground attack countermeasure. Let's. I think I might have seen this one. If this is the one I'm thinking of, the Dojo Life had a pretty accurate breakdown of it, but I'm going to go over it myself here. So let's see.
If you decide to resist, you have to make sure you have intelligent options to do so. There are 3 levels of response to threat. In this case, this is escape.
That was a 30-second video, and he spent like 20 seconds talking, right? Let's skip to the actual technique. I don't want to get copyright claimed per se here. Okay, so we have a guy in mount. Looks like the victim of the attack is a woman.
Man has her pinned down. The victim by the hands here. She brings her heels all the way up. She thrusts her hips in the air, rolls over, and she is able to escape.
Now the version of this that McDojo Live covered might have been an older video. Because as he pointed out, in that one, the guy had a high mount, and she wasn't trapping his arms. Here, she's trapping his arms, but she doesn't do anything about his leg.
She thrusts her hips in the air, rolls.
Yeah, she's... No, you know what? No, he's got the upper grips on her wrist. So yeah, she's doing nothing. Nothing that's going to actually make this guy go over. You have to trap the leg on the same side and the arm so the guy can't post at all if you're going to bridge someone off you and mount. This will never, ever work. You're going to waste energy squirming. The dude's probably going to do whatever he wants to you anyway. Yeah, this is a no. This is never going to work. This is absolutely 100% Bullshido. There's no good principle here. There's no good execution. There's not a single element. Unlike some of his other techniques where there's a couple of parts of it that are proper execution of principle and the rest just goes to hell. This is 100% went straight to hell from the beginning, did not pass go, did not collect $200, just went straight to directly to jail of stupidity with this shit. It was absolutely ridiculous. Next, this is a video of why he doesn't teach striking or punching apparently, even though there are a few videos where he does some strikes. But let's see what his thing here is.
The reason why we don't teach these kind of techniques, striking people in the face, is because his mouth will be open 9 times out of 10. His teeth will go into my hand, and that means fluids from Agent 47 will go into my body. I don't want bloodborne pathogens from this man entering me. Neither do you. So here's the point. Detroit Urban Survival Training teaches you how to manage threats and create.
Yes, idealistically, we don't want bloodborne illnesses. However, there are plenty of target options where you're not going to hit the guy in the mouth. Striking is very essential to street self-defense. It's good for setting things up. It's going to allow you to escape. It's going to do the damage you need to do depending on the threat level to be able to walk away and run away. Realistically, more like there's so many targets on the body that don't involve the mouth, and even if you get cut, your odds are still pretty high. You're probably not going to get a bloodborne pathogen. So that's ridiculous. Next, so here we have another one of his pistol disarms. This is for rear of head. Looks like this is one of those things you see a lot, is where the gun is directly against you or within arm's reach. And again, the reason for that is the only time you're ever going to be able to execute any kind of disarming technique is if they're stupid enough to do something like this, right? Let's see this. Let's see how he does this.
Okay, so the way this works. Hostage from the rear.
The cameraman needs to zoom out a little
First
more.
thing you do is move your head out of the way. As you do that, you're coming forward. You're actually going into them. You always attack your attacker. As you do so, your arm comes up, traps the arm, fingers.
Again, he knows his principle. Always attack the attacker. That is absolutely correct. Now the problem here is telling people to get their head off the line of fire and then do something. Getting your head off the line of fire from a guy holding a gun to the back of your head and getting control of the weapon arm should be one fluid motion. And you're not stepping forward, you're stepping back into the guy here. And again, he's kind of doing the right thing to begin with. He's doing it sort of wrong, but it's the right concept. And then it goes straight to hell because he does not get control of the weapon hand immediately. All right? He should have his right hand on the slide near the trigger or near the hammer and have a grip on both the weapon and the hand before doing anything else. Period. Let's see where the rest of this goes.
Go into the eyes. At this point in time, the aggressor is more worried about his eyes coming out of their socket than about robbing you.
Yeah, and you have no control over the gun. And he's probably going to panic squeeze that trigger. And with no control over that slide to prevent it from firing. Now, I may be wrong, but that's my understanding from what I have learned. Now, I'm always willing to correct things. If you know better, if you're an actual weapons expert, maybe comment down below and tell me if that actually works. But I believe even Grandmaster Andre Glenn covers that, and he's trained all kinds of stuff, including weapon, firing and everything, and how the mechanism works. So I believe if you have a good grip on that slide at the back and keep a good grip on it, you can keep it from firing. Either way, you don't want him waving that gun anywhere, while he panics. So you got to take care of the gun first. Yeah, you might distract him for a second with the eye, but you need to get control of that gun and take it away first. I wouldn't honestly even do anything with the eye here. This is a gun, not a knife. As soon as I step around, I'm going to get that gun, take it, and probably shoot him with it. Because, again, he's just put me in a life or death situation. I need to worry about getting home in one piece. All right, I'm not going to just take the gun and do any, run away with it. I'm not going to take it and throw it away. I might try to hold him there. He'll probably try to run, and then I'm going to have to shoot him anyway. Or he might try to fight me for it. I'm not going to get into that. You just have to do what you have to do at that point. But the main thing is you have to get control of that gun, and you have to you have to use it. Get control of the weapon and use it. Do what you have to do to defend yourself. Because, again, anytime there's a weapon involved, it's automatically a life or death situation. Which means that lethal force on your attacker is legally more acceptable. And even if you get an involuntary charge, it's still better to be alive and get out of prison in 5 to 10 than it is to be dead. Right? Stay alive, folks. And whatever you do not try to copy this man's techniques. If you want to see part 2, that'll probably be next week sometime. I'm not sure yet. I have to go through and get some more videos to react to. But yeah, this guy. This guy makes Steven Seagal look legit. And we all know that Aikido does not work either. Mainly because it was never meant to, but that's what makes Steven Seagal a Bushido artist, right? Because he's taking something that was never meant to work and claiming it does while it doesn't. Yeah, don't train with this guy. Don't take his techniques and try to use them, because his techniques either only partially work or don't work at all. He understands proper principle, but his execution is piss poor, which means he doesn't fully understand principle. It's crazy to me that this guy's got thousands of views on his videos in a day and age where the internet and thing is should be a tool to expose this kind of stuff and should be immediately dismissed, because there's so many better legitimate instructionals out there from legitimate arts, and even they will tell you to get to class and train them. I mean, even the Gracie, Henner and Hiron have shown knife disarming techniques that work better than this and are more realistic. Dust is an ironic name because if you try this, that's probably where you're going to end up, 6 feet under the dust. Anyway, again, like, comment, and subscribe. Redone merch is in my merch store. I'm adding new listings every week or so. Probably going to drop a new design that'll be up by the time this video is. The head kick uncensored is back up, at least in hoodie form. All those links are down below. GoFundMe link is down below. Still trying to replace my stolen car and gear, and the market right now for cars is ridiculous. It's hard to find anything less than $3,500 that's decent in my area. I might have something I'm checking out. I might have a car by the time this video is up, but possibly not. It depends. Trying to find anything for the amount I have now, which I have roughly $2,500, and that's part of that has to go to registering the thing too and insuring it. It's really difficult. So if you guys want to see me get back into the gym and get back into street beefs and get back into my fighting career, I definitely need help with that. Until next time, Shinigami Kai, Shinigami out.
Shinigami, samurai master, straight up out the land of Lancaster. No one stronger, ain't no one faster. Turning the opponents into Caspers, ghosts, disasters. We don't do no waiting, where I'm from, we attack them. Swift KO kick to the chin, leave them napping. Sniff, take a whiff, that's the smell of victory. Better fear, making all my peers' careers history. Big dubs, all we catch is big dubs. Karate chops to his tops, leave them big slumped. Humble beast, beefing in the street. We don't take no loss. You gon' catch defeat. You gon' catch a fist.